2008 Chevy Tahoe transmission filter kit replacement and transmission fluid replacement. So pretty much find the transmission oil pan. That's an engine oil pan. This is the transmission oil pan. Tools needed: some of this, and some of this. That's a 13mm socket, 1/2 inch. I mean 3/8. You could use a gun, or you could use a ratchet, and a drain pan, and maybe some creeper. Just showing you where I put my engine stand right there. It's right on the frame. And this is 6-ton engine stand. And I jack it up right at this portion right here. That's a cross member frame. Let's see from this view. Let's see from the tire. You see the lower control arm, where the lower control arm is bolted into? Right there. Right there. Apparently there's a bracket that's on the way to drop the oil pan. We're gonna have to remove this bracket right here. Two choices: you could either bend it or remove it. This is not my car, so I'll probably just bend this. Maybe not. I'll just use this Torx T40. T40. There's a screw, 2 screws right on top of it, right there, and the other one is over there. That one. I'm using a stubby ratchet. It's pretty small. It's pretty big in the camera because it's zoomed in. Let's try. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. In this case, it's lefty. Alright, loose. One out. Oh boy, this one's tough. Yeah. Sorry, but that's the best camera angle that I could get you. I don't have any other place to put the camera. Alright, so let's see if we have enough room. Alright, enough room we have. So we're just gonna sit it on the side and continue to take out those bolts. And I think we have enough room not to remove the exhaust pipe. So let's try that. So here's some trick, because this thing, it won't push up, right? What we're gonna do, since this is on a transmission, on this side we're just gonna pull this shifter pull it up that way and push it up. Now we have pretty good clearance. Alright, see what I'm doing in here. I'm leaving one bolt left, and I'm gonna loosen that bolt little by little and crack the pan in apart. And that way I would have just that front portion to be start dripping off. That way I would only have to put the pan, my drain pan, in that location, since I don't have that big of a drain pan. Come on, boy. Start draining. There you go. Huh. You're looking up. Voila! Oh boy. Okay. So what I have here is a Duralast transmission filter kit that doesn't last. You got a transmission filter and the kit, not the gasket. So to remove the filter, it doesn't look like there's any bolts anywhere, so it looks like we're just gonna have to pull this thing down. Let's try that. There you go. It's out. So here are some questions that might come to you. Is that, are you gonna replace that gasket or that seal? It comes with a seal, but for me, I'm not gonna replace it at this time because it's really hard to get that thing out, especially I'm just doing this on the ground. And of course, when are you gonna decide when to replace it or not? As you see, while I was trying to remove the old one, it was really hard to get it out. So that means it's still providing a pretty good seal. That means I could still reuse that sealing that's in there. So I'm just gonna reuse that and make sure everything's lined up and push it in real good. There you go. That's a pretty firm connection right there. Make sure everything is lined up on the side. On the side right here, make sure it's not above it. Make sure this thing is not pointing like that way. You don't want that, so we can't put the fan back on, obviously. So that's the perfect position right there, just like that. I'm about to clean the oil pan and put the new gasket in. At some point you'll find some residue from the old gasket that got stuck on the oil pan, You might want to get that out, because if not, it's gonna cause some problems. So what I have here is a 220 sandpaper. That should be good enough just to get this little piece out. Don't use a very rough sandpaper, or it's just gonna create some damage. And make sure don't scrub just on one location. Don't do that, because you're gonna create some dent in there. So you might want to make a good straight coating. I got here some throttle plate cleaner or brake clean will work, just to make sure this, where the gasket is gonna go to, is all dried. So what I'm just doing is I'm just making sure that I don't have a big piece of dirt inside the oil pan. You see, I have some oil still that's in there. It's your choice. You can clean them all up all the way, but it's just at this point that I don't have enough cleaning materials. Alright, that should be good enough, but it's all that thing is not gonna cause any damage. So at this point, putting in the new gasket, make sure all holes are just gonna line up where they're supposed to be. Make sure all holes go through. And what I really want to do before I put it up in there so it was easy, I put the bolts in position. Make sure you thread it, because if you try to push it in, it might damage the gasket. Let's put some in here too. Okay, now it's time to clean up the meeting surfaces. We're gonna remove all that fluid that's on the side. We want the contact point to be dry, out of fluid. I have some black spot right here where the old gasket just gets stuck, so I'm just scrubbing that with a rag. Should be able to come off. That's it. Remember the positioning. This little bump right here goes onto that corner. Remember, that's the front of the car. So that little bump right there goes to the front and to the left side. Double check. Alright, that's snugged in. Now things start. Just put them in little by little. Don't tie them up yet. I'm talking to myself, baby.
Why are you putting a video then?
Huh?
Why are you putting a video then?
Well, I'm talking to my video then.
Plus, Dada,
Bye-bye.
can you come with me to give this to the chicken? It's too dark.
You don't know where's the flashlight? It's over there. Remember, it's in the charger. Oh well, did you check? You did not. In our backyard? Some people might take you from our backyard? Fast? Really? Do you think there's some people in the backyard? There's no people in our backyard. Come on. There is no people in our backyard. Did you see? I'm taking some video.
Please, they can see me and they can hear you talking.
I know. And they'll know that you're so makulit. Yeah. So you don't want them to know that you're makulit? You do it by yourself. You can do it. You can wait for me.
Yes, I will wait for you.
Yeah, that's my son, Nado, right there. She's so makulit.
No, I'm a girl.
Oh, are you a girl? I thought you were a boy. Oh, boy.
You see me wearing a dress?
Not all girls wear a dress.
Yeah,
Some of them, but not all girls.
Yeah, so I do.
Okay. So wait.
And I am a girl.
What makes you become a girl?
Making me a girl
Yeah.
is royalty and playing with dolls, hopscotch, and
Well, some of your friends, boyfriends, actually plays with a doll too.
Daddy, I don't have a boyfriend.
No, I mean friends. That is a boy. I mean boyfriend. Stop it.
I'm not doing anything.
No, I'm talking about boyfriends. I know you don't. Not a boyfriend. You know what I mean? Boyfriends. That is a boy. That's not an actual boyfriend. You're not supposed to be thinking about that anyway. You want to clean them up because you want to recheck them if it's leaking or not. Make sure they're dry. I need to change my rag, it's all oily. And now we're gonna have to refill the transmission fluid. That's the engine oil dipstick. This is the transmission oil dipstick. Pop. Pull it thing out. Bam. Alright. So it looks like I was looking at all data. This car would take 5 quarts of transmission fluid. But there's like three different kinds of transmission for this car, and that ranges from 5 quarts, and the other transmission would take like 6 quarts. So we're gonna start with 5 quarts first. So I'm just using the regular STP Dextron 6 transmission fluid. I'm not gonna buy the expensive one, because I would normally recommend to at least do your fluid change at least once a year, if you really want your fluid to stay clean. Because if you start doing it like 2 years, 3 years, some dealers recommend 60,000 miles. That's really impossible to keep your fluid clean if you do it that way. So if you want your transmission to actually last long, do it at least once a year. So at least this video would help you to save some money. You could do it yourself. So me, I'm just doing it in my garage actually. So the fluid would probably cost you like $8 a quart, and the filter kit is probably like $30. So it's really cheap if you just do it this way, compared to if you have to bring it to the dealer. It's way like triple the digit of that. So we're about to check the fluid level. We're gonna start the car, put it on drive, put it on all gears one at a time, 5 seconds interval. So park, reverse, see if you make sure you feel that the transmission actually shift, and then drive or neutral, drive, go through all the gears, and then back one at a time. There you go, back to park. And then we're gonna leave the engine running and get it to normal operating temperature, and then check the fluid when the engine is running and it's on park. Make sure to always recheck to see if you have any leak at all. You want to go around your oil pan to see if anything at all that is actually start to get wet in there. And at this point, everything looks pretty good. Alright, let's check the fluid level. Stick it all the way in, move it out, see where we at. Come on, focus, 30, get up. I'm trying to focus that. Come on, bro. It's right there, it's right, it says cold. That's my level right there. So if your temperature is already hot and your level is at cold, you could still add more and just monitor, check it again. I'd say from here, from this point, you could add half quart and then recheck it and make sure if the engine is hot, you want the level to be right at the hot mark. Oh, come on. Alright. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Just hit the subscribe button.